Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes. Yeah.
It's Monday night. The Sports Hounds are live. Runnymede, New Jersey, the Real Talk Studios. I'm Rob Brinkman, sitting in for Brad Ryer, America's favorite Uber driver, Greg Milakovic. Frank Vesby producing the program as usual. Greg, Frank, I'm in a foul mood today.
I noticed.
Much like I was after the last Seattle game, where coincidentally they lost 17-9 as well. I'm in an even worse mood today because, once again, the game, even with Carson out, was right there for the taking. The Eagles couldn't take advantage. They lose for a sixth straight time to that hipster doofus, Pete Carroll. I mean, they have no running backs. All they have is Russell Wilson. Seattle stinks. They stink. They're going to get rolled next week in Green Bay, where I actually think the Eagles, even with Josh McCown, would have given that Green Bay team a run for their money. But, you know, you got no receivers, you got no corners, you got no line, you got a backup quarterback, and still the Seattle Seahawks couldn't put him away. I'm in a bad mood. We got the Sixers on live. That just another team that just frustrates the hell out of me. I'm frustrated. The Flyers season is just slipping away since the energy's just zapped since Oscar Lindblom.
Yeah, it was so unfortunate.
Got an unfortunate cancer diagnosis. And, you know, the Phillies, once again, aren't going to make the playoffs because they refuse to go over the luxury tax, even though Mr. Middleton wants to just tell everyone how much money he has all the time.
Yeah.
Pay the tax, dude. But to the poll question, brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy. Dr. Paul Vidal, 3 convenient locations. Visit specializedphysicaltherapy.com for more information on their services. No appointment necessary. The Philadelphia Eagles season was a success. Hashtag agree. Hashtag disagree. Pretty easy. It's an agree. I mean, this team, even though I'm really frustrated and in a bad mood, I'm proud of the way that this team won 4 straight to get there. I'm proud of the way they fought with a backup quarterback yesterday. I'm proud of the way it took them a while, because I know you're on you're not the biggest Doug Peterson guy.
Yes, absolutely.
Like I am. I can never tell if you're serious about that or you're just like.
No, I really don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not on the train.
Okay. But overall, it was a successful season. You know, what are your thoughts, Greg?
It's interesting for me with this question because you're right. When all things considered, you look at the end of this year, you win the division, you make the playoffs. That should ultimately equal success.
Yes.
However, when you look at, you measure that versus the expectations of what this team should have been.
I knew you were going to go there.
It's like your gripe with the Sixers, right?
I hear you.
This team should be so much better. And not that they're not there because this season's not over yet. But you're right. Night in and night out watching them is so frustrating. That middle of the season to me was so frustrating that I can't just let squeak by and tough wins against the bottom of our division, which, hey, we won. We made the playoffs. That, with this team and the injuries that we had, is an absolute success. But I can't sit here and say it's an overwhelming success because of what the middle of that season looked like when I was watching a bad football team.
And they were.
For
yesterday. The team that won 4 straight.
Even in those games they won, there was periods of time where they were just a bad football team. Now granted, they were more talented even with the injuries than the teams they were playing, so that overall won. And as you mentioned, Carson Wentz rose to the occasion down the stretch of those games and delivered on
4,000 yards passing.
On that promise of trying to be that franchise quarterback. So it's nothing to take away. At the end of the day, you did finish with two of the goals that you want to do, win the division, get to the playoffs. But, it just seems kind of lip service right now when you look at the expectations of what we thought this team should have been.
So Carson Wentz finished the season with 4,039 passing yards. You know what the over-under in Vegas was?
40.
4,040
Yep,
and a half.
4,040.
Are you kidding me? You have the over there? You're sick to your stomach. Sick to your stomach. One of those freaking J.J. Arthega-Whiteside drops that
or the
idiot
Nelson. Or the Nelson. Yep.
Cost you whatever, some coin. Unbelievable. Isn't it unbelievable? They always get that.
Vegas is so – I mean, there's a reason Vegas is built the way it is.
What do they have? Algorithms, computers? They have a guy in a room that studies
I don't
everything?
know.
It's unbelievable.
For a while, I was trying to – I was doing Madden to see what seasons would look like. I was doing Madden simulations to see how true they were, and they were never true.
Well, a lot of them were like Cowboys-Browns.
Yeah.
Because of the flash of those
exactly.
teams, and that's what wins in Madden.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a big gamer anymore. I haven't really played video games.
No, I haven't played Madden in probably 10 years.
And I hear you. Back to it was the season of success. I hear you because back in August we were all doing shows. Carson's gonna be great.
Yep.
Be the MVP. We got the Sean.
He's
We got
throw
Alshon.
45 touchdowns.
45 touchdowns. But
Do we have enough footballs to go around?
Yeah. Yeah. Funny how things change. But as the season progresses and, you lose to the Dolphins and they get there, don't your expectations have to adapt as a fan?
Yeah, my expectations went, why win another game?
Yeah, you were there. You were in the tank.
Yeah, because
tank mode.
You're at the lowest point. You lost to the Dolphins.
Yeah, it was bad.
And although the offense and Carson put up 35 points, if the defense can't stop the Dolphins one time to win a game, how could they have stopped – at that time, although a struggling Cowboys team, but at least an offense that was competent, right, at times.
Yeah.
At that point, I think that was the week
they
blew out the Rams.
They rolled over like mutts.
No, they did.
Against the Eagles.
Yeah. So, you're right. The expectations changed, and my expectations went south because I didn't want them to make the playoffs and then Howie and Jeffrey sitting back right now going, maybe we're okay. Let's bring everybody back.
That's my biggest
fear. Let's bring everybody back because, hey, we made the playoffs. It's a success.
That is I'm glad you touched on that because that is my biggest fear moving into this 2020 offseason. Oh, okay. Look, we found Greg Ward. We found Boston Scott, two guys I think should definitely be on the team and
no doubt.
Get, significant playing time next year. We found those guys. Jim Schwartz kind of pieced together. Maybe we'll get him a corner. We'll bring back Alshon and Deshaun. Deshaun will be back healthy.
Hopefully.
We're fine.
Yeah.
We're fine. Grow, he's fine.
Yeah.
Deuce, fine. Schwartz, fine. Doug, fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Because I think the Cowboys made a very good hire today. For those of you who don't know, the Dallas Cowboys hired Mike McCarthy. I mean, you say what you want about Mike McCarthy as a coach, but he is light years better than Jason Garrett
absolutely.
as a football coach.
And that's not saying much. Because I think they're both very mediocre. Mike McCarthy, he wore out his welcome also in Green Bay.
Yeah, but that happens with coaches.
It does. So he's been out. What's he been away? 1 year, 1.5, 2 years?
2 years, I think.
So, maybe the couple years away.
No, because this is LaFleur's first year.
This is LaFleur's first year.
And he went 13-3 because he had a new voice.
Yeah.
I don't put too much stock into that, though. And then you have the Giants, who I think have a franchise quarterback.
Yep.
They have weapons. They have Barkley. And they have, Brad talks about it every week, $85 million in cap space. And they're going to have the fourth pick. They're going to get better.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't think they can do work. I mean, Shermer is what he is. I think that he's a coordinator, not a head coach.
Exactly. And this is I think it's his second or third time trying to be a head coach.
Yeah.
And, and I think at this point, now granted, he didn't have much to work with up there, but still, he didn't have much to work with in Cleveland, didn't get it done. Didn't have, obviously, much to work with in the Giants, but still didn't get it done.
But he's an offensive guy. He had weapons.
Albeit he did have the backing of Jones and Barkley.
Yes.
So that has to say something. But you're right. There are certain guys that are just born to be coordinators.
And their defensive coordinator, Veacher, he's horrible.
Yes.
I mean, you had DeAndre Baker, a first-round pick, a guy I really liked coming out of Georgia, going in the middle of the season. Like, dude, no one's teaching me the plays. I don't know what to do out there. Like I'm trying, but I don't know what to do. So they're going to get better. Then the Redskins, you got Daniel Snyder telling everyone Happy Thanksgiving on January 2nd when they hire Ron Rivera. I don't know why Ron Rivera, a smart head coach, would waste his time with that organization.
Because I think he sees that they're going to get better too. But you're absolutely right. Once he says Happy Thanksgiving on January 2nd, and then they lost to Jersey. I'm on the phone with my agent going, "Yo, can we get that meeting back in Cleveland?"
Out. But
with the 2 pick, say they not that they're going to, they're going to go Chase Young, but say they go Jerry Jeudy. Now their offense is
they could do
stupid.
They could do anything.
They could do whatever they want. It's going to be Chase Young, but if they want to go wide receiver,
let's relax. So let's take a step back.
Well, I'm saying they have weapons. You're right. They're not stupid because they have a terrible
Haskins, who
they have a terrible quarterback, but they're going to be they have weapons at that point.
Peterson coming back again. Like I'm not
all
worried.
day.
I'm not
all day.
I'm not worried about the Redskins. But getting back to this wild card game, I thought McCown did about as good as I would expect him to do in a backup role.
Yeah.
They really hurt the Seahawks on those crossing routes with the tight ends.
Yeah.
A lot.
The tight ends were active.
Ertz played great. Goddard had a couple catches. But, it's been the same. I know it was a backup quarterback, so you have to take it with a grain of salt. But it seems this team's main bugaboo, besides drops on the offensive side of the ball, was red zone play calling and red zone efficiency.
Yeah.
Way too many field
goals. Which
is
something that Carson, down the stretch,
did very well. Because it took Doug Peterson 13 weeks to figure out Carson's best when he's rolling out on the move.
And we're running the football effectively.
Right.
Imagine that.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird how that happens.
You're right. With a backup quarterback, expectations drop a little bit, but it's not like this was Nate Sudfeld coming in. You know what I mean? Like, this was, although he is a backup, it's Josh McCown. He's a former starter in the league, your ultimate pro. It did take him a little bit to get rolling with the offense because obviously there's no work.
Yeah.
But, I thought it flowed pretty well. There's a couple plays, not necessarily play calls, but situations that came up that, to me, Joe, you got to bury that free throw. Sixers up 12 right now, started the third quarter.
It's a quick halftime.
Yeah, it was. It was just a couple of instances that just had me shaking my head, and ultimately, it obviously didn't matter anyway. But when you at the end of the first half, and that false start or the procedure penalty comes with 44 seconds left, and then the clock's running after the 10-second runoff, and you didn't have a play ready.
No.
And then you took it down to 12, and then ultimately you just went to the locker room. But in a game where a field goal at the end of the half, and then now it makes it that much more manageable come the second half. And again, they ended up going to the half. We were in our territory anyway, so did it ultimately matter? No, but it was frustrating at the time. Like, do you guys know the clock's running? Do we get that? Do we understand the clock's running?
Yeah,
and then,
they didn't.
And then the decision to let the last fourth down go down to the 2-minute warning.
I didn't.
And
what?
I just wanted them to run the play before the 2-minute warning. So if you didn't get it, you then had 4 chances to stop the clock. Again.
That's the last one after Miles Sanders dropped the ball.
Right. Because
brutal drop.
It was. But the play call was right. The play call was right.
Yeah. Look, this is the first time in a while after an Eagles loss where I'm not killing Doug for his play calls.
Yeah, I'm not.
I thought he called a pretty good game. There was one play call that really had me pulling my hair out because it was right in front of us at the stadium. It was about 4 minutes left in the third quarter. It's 3rd and 4, and they ran a stretch play with Boston Scott to the short side of the field, which they had it sniffed.
Yeah.
It didn't work at all. They actually lost.
Yeah, they lost a yard or two.
Goes to 4th and 6, and they go out and kick a field goal. I don't understand why you don't throw the ball there. It's 4th and 4. Mm-hmm. You got to get a touchdown down there.
Yep.
Because then it's 17-13. You can go 17-12. You can go for 2 to make it 17-14.
14, yep.
Then you got down there twice in the fourth quarter in the last 7 minutes. Boom, boom. There's your 2017 victory.
Yep.
I mean, the only reason
and to your point,
both
of those times they got to where a field goal would have helped if the situation was different. As it was at 8 points, it didn't make sense to kick 2 field goals. You still needed a touchdown at some point.
No, because what are you going to do at 17-12?
Right.
Nothing.
Yeah, you're not kicking another field.
But-
I would have loved it because I had plus 2.5. But
yeah. But when they ran that play call, I'm like, oh, okay, he's gonna go for it. He runs the short side of the field.
Yeah, he knows he's got 2 plays
he gets
to get the
2
first
threes.
down.
He's going to try and get 4 yards on 2 plays, which is great. But, I mean, Doug didn't elect it. He kicked the field goal. It's 17-9, and that's how the game ended.
Yep.
But overall, season of success. I get what you're saying with the expectations, but – and then, like I said, my biggest fear is that Howie, Doug, and the powers that be in the Eagles organization – think that everything's just fine.
Yeah.
And we can, just minor tweak this thing and be contenders. Because and honestly, they could really not do much and still win the East next year. But I don't care about winning the East.
Right.
My eyes are bigger than that.
Yeah.
I got a franchise quarterback. I got a coach that knows.
You're absolutely right. When you got a guy like
bunch
Carson
of veterans
and a running back like Miles that he's turned into, you don't want to waste any of that.
Right.
It's like you feel bad for Giants wasting 2 years of Saquon.
Yeah. And poor Mike Trout sitting out there in
Anaheim. I mean, he's not poor anymore.
No.
$450 million.
About
Yeah, I get you.
Because he's not going to win.
Because
ever.
he's never winning.
They didn't even sign it pitcher. They didn't even sign it pitcher. They signed Rendon, and that's supposed to fix everything out there, I guess. All right, let's get some comments.
They got Rendon, and Shohei comes back on the mound this year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ohtani. The modern-day Babe Ruth.
Shohei! Big hit, Al. Let's go.
Did he make a shot?
Yeah, 3.
A 3 from Al Horford?
He buried a 3.
Our Al Horford.
Our Al Horford.
12 points, 6 boards, $110 million. Let's get it going, Al. Let's see. Jake Friel checks in. What's up, boys? To the poll question, he agrees the season was a success. Tony Fazinga. Season was a success. We won the division, period. That's a W in my opinion, especially when we had injuries. And that's all we got so far.
Yeah, there's a couple over here on the tube. Roska checks in asking who's going to win the Royal Rumble. Eddie Sanchez, now that the season is over, they need to improve this team by letting go of Mike Groh, Press Taylor, and the QB coach. Press Taylor is the QB coach, and the quarterback coach.
Press Taylor is the QB coach.
Yeah, and the cornerbacks coach.
Oh, Unlin?
Unlin, yeah.
Oh, my. Well, that guy, I mean, he gets a lot of press for being one of the best secondary. And they stink. I mean, they have 4 guys under the age of 25, and he can't develop any of them.
Yeah.
That's why I always say, can Howie not draft, or can these coaches not develop talent?
I used to give Deuce. I used to not be a Deuce guy. I'm not necessarily right? But I will say this. Over the years, regardless of who's been in that backfield, Deuce has been able to get the most out of that group than any group of the football team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
And I'm not saying Deuce. This is not me endorsing Deuce for offensive coordinator because Doug already obviously made that decision once and chose Mike Groh over him.
Yeah. But, no, my biggest criticism of Deuce is he has full reign over the substitutions.
Right.
And Doug calls the plays. Shouldn't Doug be like, yo, we're calling this play. This is a Boston Scott play.
Yeah,
this is a
absolutely.
Boston Scott formation. This is a Miles Sanders formation. Now, their credit.
Or this drive. In this drive,
now,
I need Miles to start. You know what I mean?
Miles and Boston have similar skill sets.
Yes.
Whereas you have the Miles Sanders and then the polar opposite of Jordan Howard.
Right.
The power back. You can't run the same plays with that. Just like when we have Blunt and Ajayi with Sproles.
And I don't think that's a bad thing to have.
No.
But you're absolutely right. There's only certain plays you can call for certain guys with their skill set.
Correct. Now, I want to get to something because I think they found 2 guys here through all these injuries, and that's Boston Scott, good player, good back.
Yeah.
He can definitely be a backup to Miles Sanders next year. And Greg Ward I don't know if he's a main slot guy. That's why I love the kid Jefferson out of LSU because I think he can play inside and outside. I know everyone loves CeeDee Lamb because he can.
We were looking at that last night, and there's so much talent.
Yeah.
There's so much depth at the wide receiver position coming out that you don't have to reach.
Yeah, and especially with Lamb. Lamb is probably projected to be at least a top 10 pick. As of right now, from what I'm looking at, is that we are probably going to be drafting at 21. There are wide receivers at 21. A lot of the mock drafts right now, they have Ruggs from Alabama as a potential pick. They might see him as a potential successor for Deshaun Jackson, who can stretch out the field a lot. So that is a definite need, especially going to what we've experienced so far this season. There's a lot of holes we need to fill in this draft.
And hey, if they go 21, they go corner.
Yeah,
Fine.
I mean, wide receiver, corner, safety. I mean, those right there, they're my top three on looking at some picks.
The receivers, it's Judy. I think Judy's better than everyone.
Yes.
You have Judy, Lamb,
He's
Ruggs.
top 5, top 10
Yeah.
pick.
Yeah, Judy's
And
probably going to go.
Then it's kind of everyone else.
It
Yeah.
depends.
Yeah. Based on your offense and what kind of receiver you're looking for.
Yeah.
But
I looked at a mock last night, and they had us T. Higgins from
I love
Clemson.
that guy.
Yeah.
All right.
But
Number 5.
again, Alabama, Clemson,
Those
Ohio
schools.
State,
Yeah.
you get guys that win.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You get guys that just win.
And then
LSU, Jefferson at LSU.
SEC, Big Ten, Clemson.
and then I'm looking in
If
the
you're not,
Yeah.
if you're not one of them, I'm not interested.
in the YouTube chat, Mr. Wiggins. I don't know if he's related to Andrew Wiggins, but he's
Win
giving
this for Wiggins?
Yeah, just a Mr. Wiggins. He gives his little bit of a mock draft, but he doesn't specifically name any players, but he goes with positions. Round 1, he goes with wide receiver. Rounds 2 and 3, he's going to go with corners. Round 3, he's going to go with a linebacker, and round 4, a safety.
They
As
definitely
his
need a
top
safety.
picks. Absolutely.
Great segue there, Frank, because
Wow, I made a great
Yeah,
segue. I haven't
great
said that in
segue.
a while.
That's great producing right there, earning that check tonight.
There we go.
Greg, Malcolm Jenkins, I forget, would he make those comments about his contract after the game? today?
Yeah. I
Couldn't
didn't
stand
see,
it.
Yeah.
Tommy made a video, crumb of the day. If he labeled them, I'm not sure, but I couldn't stand that. I mean, we're hours after you just lost the playoffs, and you're talking about your money.
Yeah. No, I mean, I absolutely understand.
And I get he played all the snaps this year. He played all the snaps
I
last
understand
year,
the frustration.
But I don't think he had the greatest season.
No.
Down the stretch, everybody played great.
Right. Yep. The
And
last
then all
5,
the veterans
6
get all
games.
the credit. And Doug, it took him 13 weeks to get going, but he did get him going. But let's not forget that Doug struggled to get there.
Let's not forget, 5 weeks ago, we were calling for heads. Not necessarily Doug, but we were calling for heads. And to the point earlier.
Well, Doug lost me after the doubt when he guaranteed the victory against Dallas. Everyone's like, "Whoa, look at Doug! He guaranteed victory." Then he
then came up
backpedaled the
short.
whole week. They didn't prepare, and they got their teeth kicked in from Dallas.
Yep.
That pissed me off to no end. That's where Doug kind of lost me. But then he wins 4 straight, and he gets in the playoffs, and then he's the Wolf of Broad Street, as Kyle Brand would say. And everyone latches onto that because, God forbid, you say anything bad about anyone who won the Super Bowl in 2017. You're just a crumb, and it's blasphemous and whatever. But I had a huge problem with that because Malcolm, he didn't have the season, in my opinion, that deserved the raise.
No. And that's the thing. Like, if you want to give him money up front because we have the cap space right now.
Do we have the cap space?
We do,
I
yeah.
think we have, I don't know what the number is.
I'll
That's
look
why
up the
we-
number right
That's why
now.
we have Brad. Brad's a capologist.
Let's see.
Every sport, he knows exactly what's
Current
going on with the
cap right now.
But I mean, can
We
you?
have, we have about $33 million in cap.
So if you want
Can
to
you-
front load a contract to give him a raise, and
Can
then
you envision a scenario where he's not here next year?
absolutely, there's no question.
So can I.
Yeah, and it's going to hurt because although he didn't play great, he was a stabilizing force there, right?
I mean,
you
Playing
obviously-
every play.
You obviously knew he was going to be on the field. Al Horford is absolutely beasting right now. He might have 8 straight points.
Well, it's about time.
Oh, look at that. He's our long-lost pal, and we can call him Al again.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. And then we get copyright
But no, I
struck.
absolutely. I thought there was an outside chance he wouldn't play this year because of the contract.
That's where he's screwed because he thinks they're going to take care of him out of good faith because
And if you look at the Brandon Grant situation, I think they should feel burned by it because although you owed it to him, he didn't perform like it.
No.
You know, he didn't perform like he was getting paid
I didn't like
big
the
bucks.
brand.
I didn't like it either. I understood it because he is what it is, but I didn't agree with the signing or the extension.
The Eagles are loyal to a fault.
It's like
when it comes to this
it's
league,
like the
this
Flyers.
hard cap league.
It's like the Flyers with organization people.
League. Yeah, and now they're starting to get away from that, and they were looking good. We'll see if they get it back. But
that's why he's beast.
Yeah, I hated the Brandon Graham contract because I would have given Bennett a little bump and let Graham walk.
Yeah.
Because
I don't know if I would let him walk, but he was. You're right. He wasn't going to take anything but what he signed.
Yes. And then, to Frank's point, with the safety in the 4th round, I mean, if you can get Del Pitt at 22, I mean, I'm not bringing Rodney McLeod back.
I've seen mocks where Del Pitt's a top 15 pick.
Yeah. But you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, Laramie Tunzel was supposed to go 3rd overall, and then he was on.
And then a marijuana video, and then a bong video derailed everything.
Cost him millions and millions of dollars. So you never know.
Yeah, and
you run a bad 40 time. And
Mr. Wiggins, it's the NBA.
Yeah.
Everybody shoots threes in the NBA, bud.
And the other thing too is
why? What's he saying?
We
why
might
you sign Al Horford for $99 million to shoot threes? I'm like, it's the NBA.
If you can't shoot,
threes, you're not playing.
And maybe going into this draft, how we might pull a surprise. I mean, we've seen it a couple times where
he's full of surprises.
He's full of surprises. I mean,
bad kind of surprises.
I mean, the Carson Wentz, the trade up to get Carson Wentz, that was a big surprise right there.
Trading up to draft Brandon Graham, not Earl Thomas.
Right.
Yeah, I know. That was Andy.
Or
I know.
what was it?
Howie was there.
Oh, trading down for what was it? Marcus Smith.
Yeah.
Trading down for Marcus
Smith.
Smith.
Marcus Smith was the chipster, right?
No, it was a Howie. It was a Howie
pick.
Was
it a Howie?
It was a Howie pick. Chip had it the following year.
Was that before Chip? Was that the last year of Andy?
It was Chip's first draft. Well, it was Howie's last draft before Chip became a madman.
Okay.
So it was the 2014 draft.
So it was his first year.
His first year, but not as the GM yet.
Yeah.
Speaking to the secondary, Kevin Gallagher chimes in. Worst secondary in the league. So many missed possible interceptions. Also, they need
what up, Kev?
To drop the defensive coordinator if he lines 6 dudes up on first down, one more time, I might go nuts. If he lines 6 dudes up on first down one more time, I might just look. Jim Schwartz is what he is. He does the same thing 90% of the time.
He does it every year.
Their whole defense is they drop Bradham and Jenkins into the box. They play single high safety, and they play man across. Why he's obsessed with playing man across with these corners is beyond me. But it works at home, and it doesn't work on the road, and they got into the playoffs.
And the frustrating thing about
the front four doesn't get home.
And the frustrating thing about it is you're playing man, but you're not bumping. You're not bumping.
No, you're
playing off man, which is the worst thing for a man to man.
and then
you absolutely have it right.
The third and 8 or longer, they play the sticks.
That killed that was the game last night. Third down. Obviously, the game ended on the third down.
They
bomb.
had the one.
And Omar Epps was out there, or Mike Epps, or whatever Epps' brother was out there. I would have rather have Omar Epps out there than whoever that guy was.
Well, the play right before the Lynch touchdown, the David Moore crossing route on 3rd and 12.
Is that the one LeBlanc dove at his legs?
Yeah, just
didn't tackle him
just whiffed.
You're one-on-one. You got to make that tackle.
It's like a 25-yard game.
Yeah.
And then beast mode runs it in. So I mean that was 3rd down, and then Metcalf caught the long ball, and then Metcalf caught the long ball again.
Yeah.
But the game was over on that last play. Once McCown took that sack, which drove me nuts on 4th and 7.
Yeah, but when you see the play from the other side, when they showed it from the back end.
Look, my seats are here. The play was down the other end, so you see the whole field.
He had touchdown written all over him. Where at minimum he had first down, and he just didn't get out.
Because it was what? It was 4th and
7, 6 or 7, something like that.
So they could have gotten
a first down. It wasn't 4th and goal.
Very frustrating. I mean,
the other side of that, the frustratingness of that. There you go, nice charge. Corky playing some D.
he's turning quite a player.
With all the injuries that we've sustained, and the Jason Peters false starts or the delay of game that ruined us there at the first and goal from the 5. You have to be so perfect in these times, and just in the regular games. But yes, especially in the playoffs, and with the type of team that we had out there, we weren't able to be perfect, and that hurt at the end. Get in there.
What are your thoughts on Jason Peters? He says after the game he wants to be back. I think they need to make a tough decision and tell him it's time to go. Dillard's got to be the left tackle.
Agreed.
He's the first-round pick. See, I hate when the Eagles – if you're picking in the back end of the draft, because you can find guys.
Yeah.
If you're trying to win a Super Bowl like the Eagles are, these good teams, Seattle, Green Bay, Kansas City, you got to pick a guy that's going to start from day one. You got to.
And I think Dillard was ready. I think he was fine. On the left side, yes. You got to take that right side game out. You got to take that Seattle game out for him. You know what I mean? You can't fault – I'm not going to fault him on playing an opposite side that he's never played before. You know what I mean?
And you saw it coming from a mile away. Remember his midweek? He's like, oh, yeah, you ever try and – you're a writer. You're a journalist, right?
Right with your opposite hand.
Right with your opposite hand. It's not like that. I've never played offensive line. I mean, obviously in my life, but it can't be.
It's that bad. I know people that play. My cousin played at the University of Wyoming, and it is that drastic of a difference because it's all footwork. You're trained to go one way, and now you got to turn around and go another way.
But shouldn't the coaches have foresight in training camp and in practice all week? To work on it.
You draft the left tackle. You didn't draft him to be a right tackle.
Yeah,
ever.
It's like quarterback though. These guys go to college.
Yeah,
these guys are star quarterbacks in high school. Not everyone can play quarterback in college.
Yeah,
you got to learn how to play receiver.
He was a 4-year starter at Washington State at the left side.
I get it. But, only 32 guys can play left tackle.
And he was drafted as a left tackle. You didn't think that Peters was going to come back next year. You knew he was back this year. That's why I think they drafted him there, so that if Peters got hurt like he did last year, you had an option to replace him.
I think you got to – because he makes a lot of money.
Well, he's done. The contract is up, yes.
So that's why we have so much in cap space.
Yes.
Then. Okay.
It was only a 1-year extension, or the extension they gave him just took him to this year. I agree. If he comes back, it's got to be at obviously a cheap rate and a mentorship type of role, a backup role, a depth guy. But knowing a guy that Jason Peters
if he wants to play,
someone's going to find. Someone's going to pay him.
He's going to find a starting job somewhere. He didn't. I mean, is he what he was? No, but he's
good pass, Corky. No, but to your point, there's 30 other teams that probably had a worse left tackle than Jason Peters.
Probably.
You know what I mean? That would eat that up.
But let's say you don't draft Dillard last year, and you draft the best receiver that was available or the best corner that was available, that would 1,000% would have stepped in and started right away, because both those positions were dreadful all season. Is this how different is this season?
But I think, especially at the wide receiver position, it was only dreadful because there were so many injuries. Going into the draft, you knew you had, you know what I mean? You knew you had at the tight end position. You knew you had Aguilar and Jeffrey, who were coming off of good years. You didn't think it was that dreadful. I mean, you went out and got Deshaun after. You know what I'm saying?
Jeffrey fell off a cliff.
Oh, he absolutely did. So cornerback, you can never have too many corners, as we obviously have found out again.
Yeah.
But so you can make a case that if they went corner, that, they potentially could have been better. But what's to say Dillard doesn't start for 12 years?
Hey, I hope.
And you never have to worry about left tackle.
Like
you know what I'm saying?
I have a hard time picking guys in the first round that aren't going to step in and start for me right away. I just have a hard time doing it.
I
That'd
think,
be a
yeah, I mean, I think it's,
prerequisite
if it's
if I were
anybody
a
other than
GM.
Jason Peters, he starts.
Kevin Gallagher checks in. Bring back Jordan Howard and make him the main running back. I mean, come on, Kev. You got Miles Sanders. Like, Jordan Howard's out, right? He's not coming
I'll
back.
bring him back, but I'm not sitting there saying you're the number one. I mean, I like the Thunder Lightning kind of combo, and then you sprinkle it in Boston. Because I don't think you can have two. As you said earlier, Boston and Miles are very similar in a lot of what they do. Not
They
exactly.
made it work yesterday.
No, they can make it work, but I think over a full season, attrition's going to wear. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to find out. Even Darren Sproles, he towards the end of his career, he wasn't an every down back. There's packages for Boston Scott. There's packages for Miles. There's packages for Jordan. I don't pay him a lot. I bring him back on a 1-year deal, prove it deal, and see what he can do.
Is he going to take a 1-year deal?
That's up to him. Ultimately, you didn't give up anything for him in the 6th round or fifth round.
I feel like a major surgery is getting announced for him.
That's probably happening. Yeah, because
there's no way he had a stinger and missed 6 weeks.
That report was a stinger. Was atrocious.
He didn't have a stinger. Jeff Lormeyer, Jake Friel, Justin Jefferson, let's go. Mr. LSU, Jake Friel.
Yeah, there you go. What up, Jake?
We'll have some live reactions to the championship game next week. Why is the championship game not tonight?
Weird. Yeah, I don't know. No idea.
Do they really need another week?
I think part of it had to do with the scheduling. I'm not sure exactly.
Scheduling for what?
I guess for the football games, because I know the Rose Bowl was kind of a bit of an issue as well when they thought, let's have it on a weekend. It was like, no, we want this on New Year's. So I think part of it had to go with scheduling for like some of the other traditional bowls, like
Rose
the
Bowl, Sugar Bowl is New Year's Day.
Yeah,
they're always New Year's.
Yeah, but I'm not. But I think with those games being on Wednesdays, I don't know if that played a huge role in.
That's great.
The playoff schedule.
Never anything on Wednesdays.
Yeah,
the worst.
Right.
It's the worst.
I'll look it up and see.
I don't
what
care.
What the actual issue is.
No, but it is a long time.
Oh yeah,
it was 2 full weeks. It's normally 10 days.
I know there was a lot of hype for Clemson, Alabama. But I'm looking way forward to this game than
this should be a good game.
Those Clemson, Bama games.
This should be a good game for sure.
Bama, Ohio State, the 1 year with Zeke when Urban Meyer won. Jeff Lormeyer, I was hoping we'd see some Greg Ward at quarterback.
I was waiting for it too, Jeff.
Not sure what his arm would look like, but his elusiveness would have been utilized to an extent. They tried to do a couple wide receiver sweeps with him.
Yeah.
And the Seattle just wasn't having it at all. So maybe that deterred them from the Greg Ward package, so to speak.
Once he got more active, I was obviously hoping to get a wildcat pass out of him.
But
to
you do that though, and you're taking.
And then especially when Carson went down, I'm like, oh, we got a good chance now.
But you do that, but he's the best receiver on the team.
Yeah.
So you're taking your best receiver and putting him at quarterback.
No, you're not
wrong.
How
smart is that? I don't know how smart though. It could have worked.
Okay, it was scheduling. I was looking it up. It was due to scheduling because of the NFL playoffs and everything else. So,
but there's NFL.
Trey Burke Hive.
Yeah. And plus how the calendar fell as well.
Yeah.
So
I don't understand. There's NFL games
season.
next weekend too.
Yeah, but
I don't get it.
I don't know. Blame the calendar people. Blame the NCAA. Blame somebody.
We could blame the NCAA of a
lot
of
stuff.
things.
Yeah. Well, we'll just blame it all on the NCAA.
Trey Burke Hive, give it up a 3.
Jim Shingleton, Jeff. If Ward would have played primarily quarterback, then you're down another receiver, which is what I just said. Kevin Gallagher. That's just some back and forth. Jeff Lorre, more formations with Ertz, Goddard, and Perkis, who has the ability to spread out. Look, they did a great job using the tight ends yesterday.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah, I think
that's the only thing McCown hit,
right.
Unless there was a pass interference down the field.
Yeah, and they talked about it they talked about it on the broadcast. I think 80% of the passes were
zone. Seattle was zone happy.
Went to or were
Big
caught by
happy.
tight end or running back. So yeah, they were. It's all they had. But yeah, you're going 3 tight end sets. That's tough. But you're right. You don't have much more on the outside anyway. So
Jay Freely is another one. Is Alshon Jeffrey in an Eagles uniform next season? This season.
I think with the amount of money owed to him, he almost has to be.
I'd pay double to have him off the team.
But then it's dead cap. Then
I
you
don't care.
can't use it.
I don't care.
I don't disagree with you. I'm
don't
just
care.
saying that's a lot of money just sitting there wasting away.
Because I'm sick of saying anonymous source this, anonymous source that Josina Anderson, that Carson's not good and not a franchise quarterback, and the guys hate him because that's Nelson and Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah.
I'll put green money on it right away. I want both those guys as far away from my football team next year as possible.
I don't disagree.
We'll get Greg Ward can do he can do what Nelson did.
Yep.
Go out there, run shitty routes, and drop the ball every play. Greg, I could do that.
We all could do that
Yeah.
for $9 million.
Yeah, for $9 million. McCown didn't play as bad as people said he would. He was just a little slow. I mean, he played about as good as I thought he would
Yeah, I mean, he
as
kinda
a backup.
He kind of played
getting
like
thrown
that
into the fire
his whole
on a
career.
playoff game. Yeah, I mean, he is what he is, a career backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Got a couple chances to start here and there
we knew
on bad
exactly
teams.
what we were getting.
A good backup.
Yeah.
I think he did better than
Oh.
Sudfeld would have.
Oh, there's no question.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
And especially for a 40-year-old guy who's been on 11 teams in a 17-year NFL career, making his first start, he did decent. Like, he wasn't terrible.
He's got some spunk to him.
Yeah.
But you know what because, Carson got hurt yesterday.
Yeah.
He's gotten hurt a lot in his career. Whether you want to call him, he's not soft. I'm not using that word, but I'm concerned with his injury history moving forward. I think to the point where you need to spend some of that $30 million cap space on a competent backup.
Nate's there.
But I want Josh McCown to be my quarterback coach.
That's fine. And then you sign him
That's
midway
good.
through the year if you need him.
If you need him.
Yeah. Because I think if Nate's not hurt and they
Well,
don't sign McCown, Nate's the guy.
I mean, and
You
there
know,
are a couple
they
guys,
invested a lot of money
and
in-
there
not-
are a
not a
couple
lot
of
of money.
guys that
We
are
don't-
are anticipating to be like potential backups. I mean, everybody, one rumor mill is like, oh, we should look at Marcus Mariota, but
no.
I'm
no.
out.
Hey, I'm out on him.
I don't need a quarterback. If you were to draft one in
Right.
the 5th, 6th, 7th round,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
You know, you gotta
we
see-
had
you gotta go
had
through
one in
that.
Clayton Thorson, but he was too raw, so we shipped him off to Dallas, and hello, okay,
Well, yeah, he stinks.
yeah,
But you're going to go through that.
Well, I
in
mean,
that-
if I'm an NFL GM, I'm drafting a quarterback every other year.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Not
But
necessarily
not
in the
necessarily,
first
yeah,
round.
not high round.
yeah.
And
And
then
looking at
you're
the
gonna-
looking
then
at the
you're gonna roll
QB
with the-
class, it's
If
not.
I'm an NFL GM,
not
I'm
the
looking at
best.
my first 3 picks. Those are the ones you got to hit on.
Yeah,
Everything else is gravy. 4th round, that's where you can take your chances, take your projects. But
No, I'm not. If
no one's concerned but
to
me
your- to
about
your point-
Carson's injury history.
if the injuries were
Which is fine.
if the injuries were connected, I'd buy into that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? If the injuries were, both knees or a knee and a knee,
And
a
I
knee
get
and a knee.
that, and that has merit for
this-
sure.
This injury was such a fluke, dirty hit
Yeah.
that he'll get over in the offseason. And he'll be back, and he'll be back 100%.
Yeah. I agree with all that. And he's not soft, and he shouldn't
No.
have went back in the game. You can't tough it out with a concussion.
No.
It's
No.
dangerous, and it's not allowed.
right.
Anyone who thought that's ridiculous, but I'm concerned moving forward that this guy always seems to be injured, whether they're connected or not. I mean, it is what it is. I think how I think. My opinion on it is some guys are just unlucky with this stuff. Some guys are ju-
start unlucky, and then they get
Yeah.
through it. You brought up Matt Stafford last night.
Yeah.
But he
Wasn't
started
the best- wasn't the
started
best comparison.
136 games in a row.
I get it, but my comparison there was Matthew Stafford, who I think is a good quarterback. He's a franchise quarterback,
Sure.
in my opinion. He's wasted because Detroit
Stinks.
doesn't know what
Yeah.
doesn't know what they're doing and can't build a football team around him. Not because he's always hurt,
Yeah.
because the guy's a warrior. He missed games this year. What was it? 136 in a row.
136.
136 in a row. You know, Carson, I mean, I don't know. Some guys are just unlucky. My comparison's Eric Lindros. Eric Lindros was just great player. Showed up in 97. They went to the Cup, lost to a loaded Detroit team. Then it was concussion this, collapsed along that, contract dispute, this, that, and the other. But every year that Eric Lindros was right, and when he was right, the Flyers were odds-on favorites to win the East and go to the Stanley Cup. That's exactly the same thing it is going to be with Carson. If this guy's healthy, the Eagles are Super Bowl contenders. Because I know both of us like to get on Doug, but he's a good coach. Yeah. He's a former quarterback. He frustrates the hell out of me sometimes with his press conferences, his mannerisms, his play calls, and his choice of a staff, the way he just strings along bad position guys. Because Reich and DiFilippo left. And he just
were going to leave, whether they left then or the next year. They were going to leave.
That's what happens when you have a good team. Your assistant coaches get, but he was just like, oh, okay, we'll just it seemed like there was no thought in it.
Yeah, we'll just promote these guys from inside. You know, we won't necessarily go out and do anything special.
But like I said, my biggest fear is that everything's fine. Everything's not fine with this team. It's not fine with this organization. They need changes.
And that's to me again is the tough part about. And why I might, label some sort of this as a disagree is because, now what? Mike Groh's going to come back? Jim Schwartz, this is what he does every year. You know what I mean? And he didn't have much to work with, especially in the back half all year. So he was always dealt that hand all year. Now the front half didn't play very well at the beginning of the season.
Now, I don't think Jim Schwartz is the worst coach in the world. His scheme just frustrates me because you don't have personnel to play 7 in the box, single high, man across.
Ooh, they have Frosties.
Did they get them?
They got Frosties.
Is Isaiah Thomas there?
Oh, did they?
Freaking out?
OKC has 13 offensive rebounds. 13.
I mean, we're gonna get to the Sixers on the other side because they're a team that just frustrates the hell out of me, and I don't. As it stands right now, I don't see that basketball team winning. They'll be lucky if they win a playoff series. They're so frustrating. Remember Mike Scott?
Yeah, he's been bad.
Remember him?
He's been bad.
Where's he been?
He's been on a milk carton.
But I just want to play a little quick. We touched on most of them, but I want to play a little word association with some of these Eagles. Boston Scott. Keeper, Greg Ward.
Keeper.
Cravon LeBlanc.
Could do worse.
Backup.
Yeah.
Backup corner.
A rotational guy. Hey, I need somebody. I got an injury for a game or we got to go 5 quarterbacks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Isn't the worst thing in the world, but,
Sidney Jones.
Got to re-sign somebody.
Now.
You can't replace the whole secondary. Everybody's out. Like, everyone's off contracts. So you got to come back with somebody.
Cravon LeBlanc or Sidney Jones?
I'll take them both over Darby, over Douglas.
Okay, Mills?
I can fight with Mills because he battles.
Well, he's the only one that fits the scheme because he's good at man and he battles. So and he can get beat 45 times in a row, but that 46th time, he's capable of being mentally tough and making a play. That's my favorite part about him.
I agree.
And he's physical and can tackle.
And in the red zone, he usually is
like
able
he's
to
tackling David Moore on that crossing route.
Right.
1,000%.
Yes, 100%.
So, and I'll forever be prejudiced against Sidney Jones just because I think it was the most brain-dead, obnoxious draft pick maybe Howie Roseman's ever made, Joe Douglas, whoever made it, because it just lacked common sense. It lacked common sense.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it just because if the projection was right, he hits. You know what I mean? Everyone's praising that pick. The projection just didn't hit.
But I can't pick a guy.
And I think it's with him up until the last couple of weeks, I think it was more of a mental thing. He just couldn't get over the injury in his head to trust himself. You know what I mean? You know, like we talked all Carson last year about coming back off the knee and being able to fully trust it. You know, and then, of course, he gets burnt and he gets bad played a couple games and then gets benched. Now what's the head doing, to a young kid? So.
Well, he got back because Mills got hurt?
Mills and Darby.
Oh,
Ultimately.
Darby.
Darby was the one that ultimately.
Get him
See ya.
away, out, Darby. Jones, LeBlanc, Mills, all of them over Darby. I hate Ronald Darby.
Yeah,
but,
he fell off a cliff too.
And then safeties, you got McLeod and Jenkins. Question marks.
Yeah.
Rodney McLeod played good the last couple games, but then I saw that he was going to get a $250,000 bonus if they won the NFC East.
Oh, okay.
So he turned on the Jets.
Of course he did.
But he was pretty bad.
Yeah, overall, the back half of that. But again, how much is that the safeties having to do more than what they normally do because your cornerbacks are Swiss cheese? You know what I mean? How much does that factor in?
I think scheme. I get what you're saying, but I think the scheme or Jim Schwartz's scheme doesn't match
your personnel.
The defensive personnel. Like you said, you need a double-digit sack guy at defensive end
right.
if you want to rush 4 guys.
You're right, absolutely. With Jim's system, if your front 4 doesn't get home, your back half is left wide open.
Which is what happened.
Which is what happened
all year.
So Derek Barnett, call it injuries, call it whatever you want, just isn't that guy. Not giving you production of the 14th pick in the first round. Not saying he's the worst thing ever, but he's not that guy that's going to get to the quarterback.
He had a stretch there where I think he had at least a half a sack in 6 straight games or something like that. Not that
But he'd get to the quarterback, to your point.
And then he kind of got banged up, and then he came back from his injury, and he just was slow.
Yeah.
Really slow. But, you look at the defensive front, you have a lot of dinero wrapped up in that. You got BG, you got Fletch, Malik Jackson.
Malik coming back. That
hopefully helps.
Yeah.
And then you have kind of a
do you bring back Timmy
DN.
or do you let, the rushes of the world?
I like Timmy. I'll bring back Timmy.
He was on a 1-year deal this year. Does he come back again on another 1-year deal? That's, or did he use this year? Did he do enough this year to get him
That's gonna
a
depend
multi-year
on the
deal?
I'm not giving him more than – because he's going to be a backup.
Yeah. No, he's going to be rotational. I think he's a starter, but I also think – ultimately you have 3 starters when you think about it, but you're right.
No, but you got a black hole at the other defensive end. You got Sweat and Barnett, which I think I might like Sweat more than I like Barnett.
And we didn't see Sharif Miller all year, which is natural and then happens. When you draft him in the 3rd round.
That's the Penn State guy.
Yeah, it's the Penn State kid. But I'm not saying he's that answer. Is my point. You're right. That one side is a black hole.
And then I'm somewhat okay with the linebackers.
We need help though. You got
to replace Jerry.
Nigel regressed
big time,
massively.
He had a great year in 2017 when they won the Super Bowl.
Got paid, and been on a milk carton ever since.
He was certainly on a milk carton this year. He was injured, which he always seems to get himself banged up.
Yep.
But Camus is a guy that I like.
Camus showed flashes. Yeah.
Then he got hurt, and that's a back. So
that's always tough.
We'll see.
And
I have no time for Nate Jerry.
Eddie Sanchez said in the YouTube chat, he brought up Jordan Hicks, how naturally Jordan Hicks leaves, and listen,
yeah, but
I get it. We were done with him, and he wasn't going to be healthy here anyway. No one's healthy here.
No,
everyone's healthy in Phoenix. You wake up and you're just healthier. Out there.
No humidity.
No humidity. It's always sunny, and he just lights it up. Isn't that just typical though?
Yeah, but he was a good player.
Oh, he was.
Like, you could see when he was actually on the field.
Yo.
Remember Stuart Bradley?
Yep.
I love that guy.
Stu Bradley.
Nebraska, just a huge, ginormous middle linebacker. Would just tear his ACL constantly.
Just walking.
Yeah. But, like, you saw him, you're like, whoa, like, who is this guy in the middle? That's what Jordan Hicks was. He was around the ball, and, I can't I can't be an NFL GM. I can't be Howie Roseman and give Jordan Hicks, 3 years, $54 million.
Absolutely not. That's why, I'll rip Howie for for certain things. I can't rip him for Jordan
Can't.
Hicks. I can't because
Can't.
no one in their right mind thought he was going to ever do anything out in Arizona.
Led the NFL in tackles.
Led the NFL in tackles.
A lot of good linebackers in the league, and he led them all.
But to your point on the scheme, though, how does L.J. Fort go to Baltimore, get an extension, and is the starting middle linebacker for that defense, but can't get on the field here?
I don't know because it's weird the way he uses his linebackers.
I know. It's not normal.
It's like when they signed Zach Brown instead of Jamie Collins.
Yeah.
And reports indicate that Jim Schwartz has a lot of control over who they bring in, who they sign, and who he wants, which I don't like at all.
No.
Because the scouts were like, yo, we gotta get Jamie Collins. And he was like, no, we're going to get Zach Brown.
The only Zach Brown I want is the country singer.
You're a big country guy. I think he gets cut after he shoots his mouth off without Kirk Cousins. And we'll get into the other games, but Kirk Cousins.
Let's go, Mike Scott. Welcome to the season.
101.97. So we're going to come back from break. We're going to be coming in for a landing here with the Sixers and clean up some comments here. Okay, but you're playing 3 tight ends and 1 wide receiver, all with limited space. That goes to the 3 tight end things. 3 tight ends is tough to do anything.
Give me that, Al. Oh, let's go, Ben.
Go up strong with that. I wish he would just go up strong with that and draw the foul. No?
Can't shoot free throws.
He's got to learn to do something in
No, I get you.
in terms of shooting the basketball.
Trey's been hot, though.
They're all crossing curl routes all game. We touched on that. Their linebackers couldn't cover anyone in the middle of the field.
Yep.
I'm assuming he's talking about Seattle's linebackers.
Or ours.
Both.
Our middle was wide open, too.
Jeff Moore, they can't take deep shots when you don't have the speed to run past the defense. Perkins may be a hair faster than Alshon, and that's sad. Look at the TD he had against the Giants. He looked like he was running in sand. I mean, that's
He's
true.
not wrong. But in today's NFL, if Alshon is back, you can use him as that one-on-one guy. Go get me a 50-50 ball.
Who? Alshon?
Alshon.
Well,
Not
Alshon-
necessarily. Not deep. I'm saying like 12, 15 feet or 12, 15 yards. You know what I mean? Mike's got 2 in a row. Let's go.
Yeah, the receiver. Howie's not gonna. He's not gonna eat the money.
No.
He's not gonna eat the money because then he admits he's wrong and he kills. He can't use the money. So what's the point? Even though a locker room chemistry wise, I wouldn't bring him
Absolutely.
back. So you're gonna have Alshon, Deshaun, Greg Ward, a draft pick, maybe 2 draft picks, and I don't know, maybe Robert Davis makes the team or something.
Yeah, the other name out there is, Robbie Anderson.
Welcome back, Real Talk Studios, Runnymede, New Jersey. Rob Brinkman, Greg filling in for
What's up?
Brad. Frank Vesby producing the show. Got the Eagles. Feel a little bit better now that we talked it out.
Good. I'm glad.
I'm
glad you were able to get that off your chest.
Frustrated.
I know you weren't happy last night.
No, I wasn't.
You took some heat for it, but it happens.
I'm a passionate guy, Greg.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
I fly off the handle.
Great, cool.
I fly off the handle. I was very furious that they lost that game.
No, I mean it was
extremely furious.
Because you're right.
And I always need. I'm a very I don't do well with gray areas.
Yeah.
I'm not a gray area kind of guy. I mean, I've been here for 2 years. I'm not a gray area kind of guy. No, I get you. I need a cause and effect. We lost the game. Why?
Yep.
Why? I need someone responsible, and I couldn't blame Doug because I thought he did.
I know, and you're right too. Like I was just about to joke and be like, well, because Doug Peterson sucks, but I was like, I couldn't. I can't wait for that to get clipped.
Fair. Yeah. But now, the other crux of my agita, because I woke up at 4:00 in the morning, go to work, go to UPS. I was miserable. I told everyone stay away from me. I'm working the slide. I'm stacking these pallets, and everyone's leaving me alone. Everyone did. Everyone knew I meant business, and they let me. They left me alone, which is good. But here we go. We got the Sixers.
Let's go.
Minute 43 left.
Up 4.
Up 4. Oklahoma City Thunder. They're home, and Greg, this team.
7.5.
This team annoys you're laying 7.5. I would never lay 7.5 with this team. This team frustrates the hell out of me.
Good take, Ben. And 1.
I don't know how he doesn't get a foul there.
I don't know either.
These young kids, because they don't conduct themselves like superstars, so they don't get superstar calls. And look, everyone needs to let it go with Ben. He's not going to shoot.
Good deep.
He's never going
to. Sorry, I'm just going to react. So just keep going.
Yeah. What did I miss? I looked away.
Joe helped defense, forced the miss on a layup, and then Adams tried to dunk it home, and it went out of bounds.
So it's Sixers ball up
Sixers
6
ball
with a minute
up 6.
15. I'm sure even these guys can manage. But, like, with Ben Simmons, Greg, everyone needs to let it go. The guy doesn't want to shoot. He's not interested in shooting. He can shoot. He doesn't want to, which to me is frustrating. Like, I'd rather, if he had a broken jump shot and just couldn't do it, that'd be less frustrating than me seeing him shoot the ball.
Let's go, Toby, with a 3.
Now you're up 9. You're looking good.
8. That's where I need to be.
No, that's 9. You're up 9.
It is 9.
Right now.
It is 9. Sorry.
You're up 9
yeah,
now.
I can't add.
Yeah, that's all right. Not a math major.
Nope.
But
2 plus 2
you look
is
at
4.
Ben as a basketball player. First of all these people that want to trade Ben, shut up.
Please.
Shut up. With Ben Simmons, you need to focus on what he can do rather than what he can't do. Because there's only one thing the kid can't do, and that's anything to do with shooting.
Yep.
He's an elite. He's going to be first-team All-NBA the rest of his career in the NBA. He's going to be first-team NBA. The guy is locked down.
All defense.
All defense.
Yeah.
Might even be the defense player of the year one of these
be.
years. He can rebound. He's a 6'10" point guard. He turns the ball over a little too much, but hopefully he matures and does that. They're not trading Ben Simmons.
No. And not at 23.
No.
Or 24, whatever he is.
I'm much more frustrated this season with Joel Embiid.
Agreed.
Because Joel Embiid is a top 5 talent. And he wants to be the best player in the league and win all these games, get all the accolades, but he wants to show up every game, 15 minutes before with 2 bags of Chick-fil-A in the hand. He doesn't want to put in the work required to be the best player, the best big, a top 5 big in the league. And that's frustrating to me.
Because he shows flashes of the brilliance that he is.
Joel Embiid should not be a 20-10 guy. Joel Embiid should be a 30-15 guy, a 35-20 guy. He can dominate any big in the league anytime he wants, but he doesn't want to some nights.
Yeah.
It's like the play we just saw while we were on commercial where he goes up, he skies over everyone, and he swats the ball halfway down the court.
Yeah, because
Like,
you didn't
what are
want
you
to
doing?
grab it. Just grab the basketball.
Grab the ball and jam it on someone's ass.
Yeah.
Get an N1. Because he actually, unlike Ben, he actually can shoot free
he's
throws.
your best free throw shooter. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, again, a guy that you're never going to give up and you're not getting rid of. But the frustration from time to time, because you see the dominance and you see the greatness in, like, the Milwaukee game on Christmas Day. You know what I'm saying? You see that absolute domination, and you're like, where is that every night? Or where is that 3 out of 4 nights? You know what I mean? I don't need it every night, but where is it 3 out of 4 nights? You know, where is it, twice a week, 3 times a week?
It doesn't come out
It doesn't happen enough. And if he wants to save it for the playoffs, that's fine, but we got to get there.
See,
and we got to get there at a high seed.
This is what I hate about the processors and the Sixers apologists and just sports in general. These teams that think they're just going to make the playoffs and flip a switch, doesn't work like that. Sports does not work like that.
No, you're right.
Because you have Milwaukee, who's damn good. You have Boston. Danny Ainge's going to add a big, and they're going to be damn good because they're much better with Kemba Walker over that crumb, Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is poison. He hasn't even played. He's hardly even played.
Did they call a
Brooklyn.
foul?
It's tough.
Did Toby just foul out?
Basketball is the one sport that's the toughest to watch without sound.
Yeah.
But Joel Embiid, much more frustrating than Ben Simmons. You're not trading either of them.
No.
But another beef that I have with this team is the construction of the roster. You have no dominant guard. Elton Brand assembled the team with no dominant guard. Now, Jimmy didn't want to be here, probably because he looked at Ben and Joe, and he doesn't know what makes him tick, and so he went to Miami, where it's warm, and he got his max money
right
either way. And the Sixers didn't want to give him the 4th year. But, Josh Richardson as your go-to perimeter guy, like, I don't know. Then you have 3 6'10" guys. I didn't like the Al Horford signing from Jump Street, and his stats indicate that so far I'm right. So you're going with you have a position in center that's non-existent, and you have 2 of them in your starting lineup. Tobias, I mean, he's on a milk carton way too much to be making $180 million. I get you're better with him than without him, and I know you had to sign him because Jimmy walked.
Right.
But, I mean.
And ultimately you gave up more for Tobias than you did for Jimmy. Yeah. When you think about Landry and that unprotected first. That was the key. Was that unprotected first.
Yes.
In 21.
But
when you can draft high schoolers again.
Yeah. But yeah, when you trade for Jimmy Butler, I don't even care that he's not here.
Yeah.
Like Saric and
I love Dario
and Covington.
But yeah, I mean
but what are they doing?
No, they're not doing anything.
Nothing.
I'm just saying you love Dario because of what he was. But you're right, he wasn't.
And then I don't like the coach. I haven't liked the coach. I'm never going to like the coach. I just don't think he's the type of guy that can get the best. Look, Brett Brown, his strength is to coach guys like he was the perfect guy for the process.
Yeah.
Because he can take a guy like T.J. McConnell and Robert Covington from out of nowhere and make them serviceable NBA guys. But he can't get through the Joe and Ben. He can't put a plan together with this loaded roster, and that's what the Sixers are. Sixers are, talent-wise, a loaded roster, and they're 5th in the East.
Yeah.
That falls on the coach. They turn the ball over too much. They're undisciplined, and they don't run half-court sets.
Yeah. And, I'm a Brett guy to a point, but I also admitted, and I've said this for years, that Brett, because of what he went through, gets X amount of leash, right? But I also admitted that he very well might not be the guy to get you over the top.
He's not the guy. I'll tell you
And
right
it's
now.
starting to
He's
show. And
not
I'm not
the guy.
sitting here, we got to run him out of town now.
No,
but
I'm
like,
very much against changing coaches in the middle of the season.
Joe, what do you?
See, this is why we don't have sound. We
Yeah.
don't know what's going on.
Well, Joe just let him go. And I get you don't want to foul him and stop the clock, but Joe just let him
Yeah,
go.
but they're gonna win the game. You're just fighting. You're fighting your number.
Yeah, I'm fighting my number. Absolutely.
But I mean,
But to bring up your Al Horford, because I know Tommy's all over it too. And listen, I get it. It's frustrating.
I didn't like it from the summer.
He's not playing up to the contract, but the guy doesn't wake up and just not know how to play basketball. So at some point, you got to factor in, what is it then, right? Is it Brett? Did Al really take a step back?
Load management is killing this team.
It's killing the NBA.
But this team in general.
Especially this team.
But, these guys don't play back-to-backs, and then Brett Brown wants to say, we need more time to gel.
Yeah.
Then the guys got to be in the game.
Then they got to play.
Together. In the game, not in
Absolutely.
practice. They got to be in the game.
No, there's no question.
This is why I don't think he doesn't get through to Ben and Joe. How many times has he said, I want Ben to shoot 1 3-pointer a game and 8 foul shots?
Yep.
Bunch of times.
I'm sure a lot.
Bunch of times. Publicly. Let alone what he's saying privately that we don't even know about. It doesn't happen.
No.
I think the only thing you do with Ben in terms of shooting, because he has to shoot the ball for the spacing. The spacing on this half-court offense is terrible because Ben doesn't shoot the ball. Now, just because I'm frustrated that Ben doesn't shoot the ball doesn't mean I'm making a rash decision and trading him for DeJounte Murray for the Spurs, like I see the stupid trade machine on ESPN.
I love the trade machine. I love it. Like
some of the stuff I see
as a
posted
time
is
to
terrible.
waste, as like a waste time at work. Like it's phenomenal. But you're right. Some of the stuff that they come up with on these trade machines is asinine.
Do you think this team
Like
is going to make a trade?
Steven Adams held Joe to 16 points. Really?
16-9. I mean, he's got 7 of 17 from the floor. I mean,
He didn't miss that much time with the finger.
look, it's a decent game. It's a decent game. That's a lot of assists for a big man.
No, it is.
So, and Steven Adams is pretty good, but like, come on.
But to
you
your
can't
point
get me
earlier, you can't get me 25 against Steven Adams?
you should walk in. You should lace up the kicks and get 25.
Yeah.
But the spacing in the half court
Absolutely.
is this team's main problem.
There's no question. And you're absolutely right. It has to do with the lack of shooting or lack of threat of shooting from Ben. You know, and there's times where, you know, you could probably go back, and there's times where Ben runs right into the pass that he just gave up. You know, if he's going to dump it into Joe, he runs and cuts right near it, which then, again, the guy's already doubling, so now you're bringing a third defender in because the guy's going to attempt to help on the cut.
And then Horford's down there too.
Yeah. So, you know, it would work, to your point, if you had a high-low with a Horford and Joe, either one. But then the fact that you don't have an actual – so then you only have two threats on the outside because
great.
Because Ben's
I've been
useless.
screaming for the Sixers, Joe and Ben to run Stockton alone pick and roll for years.
You can't, though, if Ben
Years.
doesn't shoot.
I get it.
But you're absolutely right.
I know.
You know, yeah. I mean, you're running pick and roll with Tobias, which is fine.
But if you run high-low with Joe and Al, Ben is just –
It's wasting away in the corner.
is wasted away in the corner. You don't even have to go near him.
Yep.
You
You
don't have to
can
go
play
near
at the
him.
block, and hopefully it's the opposite block of, you know, your low.
So
But
How do you fix
there's
the
still a
spacing?
lot of time left in this season. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. We're after Christmas. We're after the New Year. Now gets to the nut cutting, but there's still a lot of time left. You know, the East, thankfully. Oh, I hate that foul. I hate that call.
but I mean
Like, it's as much his ball as it is, you know, whoever got fouled. Was that Gallinari? Like, it's as much his ball. I mean, I get it, but I hate that. That's just today's NBA.
it's a tough call.
But the East is so bottled up. I don't know, Frank. I don't know if you can pull it up with how many games back we are even at the 5 seed. I think we're only 2.5, 3.5, something like that back.
This is for the Sixers, right?
Yes.
All right.
you're right. We're not where we want to be. We're not the top 2 or 3 seed, but I don't think we're that far off.
Right.
Record-wise, I agree with you because the standings don't look. But
All right.
I watched this team play.
From
Go
which
ahead, run
seed?
it down.
From which seed?
From
top.
All right. So
top down to where the Sixers are.
All right, so the Milwaukee Bucks are currently leading the Eastern Conference. The Celtics are 5 games back in the standings. The Heat.
Yeah, the Bucks are up there.
Okay.
They're running and hiding.
The Heat are 5.5 back. The Raptors are 7.5 back. The Sixers are 9 back, as well as the Indiana Pacers.
Hold on. Bucks, Celtics,
Heat,
3 seed.
Raptors, Sixers.
Raptors 4 seed, 5 seed. Like we won 10 games for what, 3-4 straight years to be the 5 seed in the East.
Well, we're not going to finish there.
How do you know? I mean,
look at the Heat. The Heat have won so many one-possession games that streak is going to end.
That's what the Seahawks. That's what
But that
everyone
streak's
said about the
gonna end.
Seahawks, and they win every game, one possession, every game.
Yeah, but that's not going to.
They're still winning.
But in
what
the,
do you mean?
In
They're
the
in the
NFL,
divisional playoff
it's a
games.
smaller sample size in the NFL. You're only playing 1 game a week.
Look, the Heat are good.
I'm not saying they're not, but they're 3 bounces away from being the 5 seed. Because they've won a lot of one-possession games. They won a lot of overtime games that, they're undefeated in overtime. So I'm not saying they're a bad team, but I also don't think they're high as the 3 seed. I don't buy them as a 3 seed.
You got Jimmy. You got a good coach. You got a bunch of great role players.
Yeah, but they only have really one quote-unquote star.
But the Sixers have stars all over the place, and they can't seem to figure it out consistently. So how much does it have to do with stars as it is to –
You're going to run this out at 7? Are you bullshitting me? Oh, my God.
rough?
I hate gambling, but I love it.
120.
Are you shitting me?
7.
You couldn't foul Josh Richardson? Like, that wasn't a foul on Trey Burke? Oh, my God.
So, GM Greg, what are you doing at the deadline to get this team over the top? 'Cause as constructed, this team is not getting to an Eastern Conference Finals or an NBA Finals, in my opinion. You got to do something with the spacing. You got to get a shooter.
23 and 4 for Jay Rich. 17, 15, and 8 from Ben. Joel, 18, 9, and 8. 15 rebounds for Ben. It's a solid double-double.
The kid's a walking triple-double without shooting.
Yeah.
But, don't you think he's, a little bit of a punk about it?
I definitely understand.
What are you talking about? I just had 17, 15, and 8. What do you mean I have to shoot? I don't have to change a thing.
The frustration around it, you're absolutely right. But to your point earlier, you're right. So let's stop dwelling on it. Let's just, see what he is and let him become what he is, and then we'll just build around it.
Right.
Because you're right. He's a great defender. When he attacks aggressively, he can't be stopped. You know what I mean? And, tonight, he had 15 rebounds from technically the point guard position.
Yeah, he does get passive sometimes.
No, he absolutely does. There's absolutely. But to a guy who in his mind probably knows he can't shoot, he's probably like.
But he can shoot.
He's right. But in his mind, he's a pass first, obviously point guard. Let me get my guy an open shot rather than let me take it where I think I'm going to miss it.
But I mean, there's no guys that make shots.
You're right.
But why can't he recognize that? Not even threes. I'm not even
talking about threes either.
Shoot an elbow jumper.
Shoot a 15-footer.
5 times
Absolutely.
a game. It's frustrating. But I mean, Joe's much more frustrating. And you're not trading either of them.
You're not trading either of them.
Would you trade Al Horford for Kevin Love?
No.
I hate Kevin Love.
You hate
Never
Kevin
liked
Love.
Kevin Love.
I mean, I can't. But I mean, his skill set.
Isn't he what you thought you're getting from Al Horford?
No, he's a much better shooter than Al Horford.
Oh, I'll give you that.
Kevin Love's a sniper.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. He's a better shooter, but Al then has a better low post game.
Yeah, but I have Ben and Joe for the low post.
Yeah, but Joe doesn't want to go down there. Ben doesn't want to go down there.
That's another thing that's very frustrating. Joe's lack of, he doesn't.
And I say that knowing that he still posts up 35% of the time. He still leads the NBA 35% of the time of post-up, or at least last time I checked. You know what I
Do
mean?
you think that they can win with the two-center attack of Embiid and Horford?
But yeah, all right. So what's the super crux right now, right? You don't have a knockdown 3-point shooter, right? You don't have a guy that's
I
coming
don't even
in.
care about threes. My concern is spacing or lack thereof
Okay,
on
so
the offensive end of the floor. Now, obviously, a shooter helps that.
yeah, I mean, so all right.
number
so
of things could
so
help
what,
that.
Kevin Love, you're putting him on the outside, and then letting Joe patrol on the inside. But then if those 7 possessions out of 10 where Joe's trailing to play and stops at the top of the key, then what? We're going 5 wide, 5 out on the outside.
Yeah, because then you can let Ben attack.
But is he gonna?
This is why I'm so
I'm not-
frustrated.
you're not wrong.
And it's like a chore
It's
to follow this team sometimes.
It's funny because that's exactly what Milwaukee does with their second group. Is
Yeah.
they play 5 out, and everything is improv. Everything is just pure basketball from there, right? It's give and goes. It's pick and roll. It's I can beat my man. Let me go to the help and then kick.
But that's what you get when you have a far superior coach to Brett Brown and Budenholzer. This is why you get Brad Stevens. This is why the Celtics are ahead of the Sixers, because he's a better coach than Brett Brown. Eric Spoelstra, a better coach than Brett Brown.
Well, yeah, Spoelstra's done it for years.
I mean,
he also had a lot of help.
Nick
to get him
Nurse
there.
is new to the game, but, I mean, he has a championship, and, Kawhi said, see you later, and they're ahead of the Sixers still. And Siakam's not playing, and Lowry's missed time.
Yeah.
So the East isn't –
It's jumbled, but you still have Milwaukee
it's not
all the
as
way there.
weak. It's not as weak as it's been in years past.
No, absolutely.
All right, so Sixers win by 7. What was it, 120, 113?
120, 113.
You miss out.
7, you bastards.
You miss out on the cover by a half a point. Got about
Story of my weekend.
we have about 20 minutes left. I want to get into the other wild card games. I want to kick it around the NFL. Coming up is the best weekend of NFL football.
Yes.
Because you got the heavyweights coming to play.
Yep.
I'm disappointed. I hate the Saints. I'm disappointed. I'm happy they lost, but I'm also disappointed they lost because I wanted to see Green Bay, New Orleans, and then San Fran,
Yeah.
Seattle next weekend.
Obviously I bet New Orleans, so obviously I wasn't too fond of that either. But
Yeah, but they're such scum.
I would
hate
have
them. I hate
liked to
them.
see
I
them
hate
win
their
just to
fans.
see them throw the dud they threw at home on the road, and then everybody could say, "Oh, just Drew Brees can't
Yeah, but
play on
what's
the road."
what's their excuse?
There's no
what's their
excuse.
excuse this year?
You know they're going to use it. Oh, that was offensive pass interference.
They're gonna change the rules again.
Oh my God! Of course they are, because it's the NBA.
Because
Drew
Sean
Brees,
Payton's a
Sean
little
Payton.
bitch.
They're going to cry and cry and cry. And
I hate Sean Payton.
and
I think he's just a little weasel bitch.
This is what
and
you
I'm
get.
so happy he lost.
This is what you get for
And I
leaving.
hate the Vikings
for
too.
leaving Drew Brees in the game up 35-0
Yeah, they
after
ran
he
it up.
sets- and you
They
ran
ran it
it up, and you
They
thought
did
you were
run
this
it up.
juggernaut offense, and then you lay a dud at home
Yeah,
to a good
Drew Brees.
Vikings
dud.
defense.
Very banged up Vikings
Yes,
defense.
should have been torched Vikings defense, but
But
good
Drew Brees, complete dud.
dud.
Taysom Hill made every big play that they had.
I would love Taysom Hill.
He's great.
He'd be our best wide receiver.
Be our best a lot of things on this team.
It's only wide receiver. It's not our best quarterback.
No, but he can. I mean, you see what he does. When
Yeah,
he goes
no,
in there.
he's incredible.
He's a play waiting to happen.
Yeah, no, he's
And
incredible.
he plays special teams, and I mean, he's a big hoss.
Yeah.
You put him in a linebacker, let him hit somebody.
It's a shame he lost 4 years going on that Mormon mission.
Yeah, I know, right? It's spin it too.
Oh, I know.
But and then obviously we talked ad nauseum in the first hour. The Seahawks beat the Eagles.
Dank Burrito wants Jalen Rieger. I think he's out of TCU. Is that where
Oh,
he's out
the
of?
receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've learned my lesson with the Big 12 and the Pac-12.
Yeah.
I'm good on that.
I mean, he's a solid guy.
If you want to give me an SEC, Big 10, Clemson guy in the first round and take that guy in the third round, cool. But if he's my only draft pick, yeah, I need a little
I don't
I need a
disagree.
little more than that. But what was the other? Oh, we had the Dynasty.
Yeah.
Dynasty. I don't know if it's dead, but I mean,
It'll be interesting to see what happens. You know,
yeah, Brady is
regardless
a
of how it
Brady is a
ends.
free agent. Tennessee goes in there. They beat him at their own game. Derrick Henry runs it right down their throat.
Yeah. You're right. Ryan Tannehill was the quarterback. But, people are saying, people that say Brady lost to Tannehill. No, Brady the Patriots lost to Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry ran all over them.
Yeah,
He was a monster. 186 yards? Something
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
He was a monster.
big time.
And towards the end of that game, which is exactly the way they draw it up, nobody wanted to tackle him.
No,
They were getting out of his way.
I didn't blame him.
No.
one bit at all either. Now, but you look. I mean, we complain about lack of playmakers on the Eagles.
Yep.
But I mean, that Patriots team. I mean, James White is the only guy really with some get up and go.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, Edelman had 100 catches, but you know what I think ended up truly happening with
I
that?
saw a stat online, and I forgot to check the credibility of it. I saw online that Julian Edelman led the league in drops.
Well, they lost the game because of that drop that they had on third down.
Yeah.
They catch that ball, they go down and score.
Yes.
He catches that ball, they go down and score.
Yes. And then, they spent a first-round pick on N'Keal Harry. I mean, Tom Brady looks like he's going to strangle him about half the time.
Yeah, it was frustrating that he got hurt so early in camp that he couldn't even, have any time with him.
He's so timid out there.
He's so good. I mean, when they drafted him, I thought it was perfect because of how awesome he was at Arizona State. But yeah, he definitely didn't. Definitely didn't help him as much as they probably thought he would.
And then,
What truly happened? I think they all assumed Gronk was going to come back,
Yeah, in week 12.
and
the
then
stretch run.
when he truly did it, they were just like, "Oh crap, we really only got out."
and
we
then-
went out and got Mohamed Sanu. Like that's all we did.
And that was a bad trade.
It ended up being bad. I mean, when you think about it, you're like, all right, cool, Mohamed Sanu's serviceable. He
Yeah, but
should be
two
able to
for
work.
him.
Oh, no, absolutely. But if they win a Super Bowl, what's the difference? That two's a third rounder, essentially. You know what I'm saying?
And their defense, I mean, started hot.
Yeah.
They're like a first-round fantasy pick. Like the first.
Oh, they won. They basically won me a league.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, they peaked early, and they weren't the same
No,
down the
they
stretch. They
absolutely-
they lose to the Dolphins, and they get run on by
Yeah.
Derrick Henry. And then their first-round pick before N'Keal Harry, Sony Michel. I mean, talk about regression there. He went from Walter Payton in last year's playoffs
Yeah.
to, he's averaging 2.5 a carry.
Yeah, to splitting carries.
So, I mean, they have a lot of work to do. And Brady's a free agent.
Right.
And
And
you think
what do
McDaniels? You think McDaniels gets a job?
What are you doing? You going Jared Stidman? Really? Is that where you're going?
No, I mean, look. Can you imagine Tom Brady in a different uniform?
No, I truly can't.
I guess Joe Montana was a Chief. Peyton Manning was a Bronco.
I guess when you put it in that sense, you could, but I truly
Where
don't.
where could he go? He didn't have
San
the greatest
Diego.
year.
San Diego, or I'm sorry, L.A.
L.A.
You know,
played
the
for the
Chargers.
Chargers. I think Rivers is done there.
I think he's done there. I think Rivers might go. I could see Rivers depending on who's the coach in like a Carolina.
So what if
in Carolina?
What if Brady goes to the arch rival Indianapolis Colts?
Could do that.
Because
I could see that.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean,
If I'm the Colts, I'm not. I mean, Brissett. I mean, he had a cute little run.
yeah. No, I mean,
They
Jacoby
were, what,
Brissett is
5-2,
what he
6-2, and fell apart.
Yeah. He is what he is.
But yeah, if I'm the Colts, I'm
Sure.
I'm trading for Dalton, getting Rivers or Brady. I'm
Andy
getting
Dalton's
someone.
another name. I like Andy to go to like a team like Oakland or Las Vegas, whatever you want to call them. And compete with like Derek Carr or beat him out or whatever.
I don't think that's. It's not that big of a stretch that
No.
Derek Carr gets beat out by somebody next
No,
year.
not
I
at
don't
all.
think he's really that good. And then, what game am I missing? Oh, the Bills Bills Texans.
Yeah.
Sean Watson flips the switch.
Seriously flips the switch.
Seriously.
Like went beast mode and flipped
Big
the switch.
time.
Like carried
DeAndre
7
Hopkins,
guys.
beast mode, second
Yeah,
half.
yeah. It's amazing.
How about the refs almost really screwed up that game?
It's so.
I'm so happy
incredible.
that common sense prevailed.
It's so incredible that was even a thought. Like, and it was like,
what are you talking about?
he did this, and then because he
this.
didn't kneel, and then the ref as if he knew it was coming, all of a sudden was
Like,
I'm not gonna catch the ball.
Nope, live.
And
Yeah,
are you kidding me right now?
Like you want to preach player safety on kickoffs and then do that bullshit.
And then do that. Yeah.
Did you see all the refs
absolutely.
running around that
Yeah.
guy? Like, no, come on, we got to do
It's
this.
incredible.
We got to do this. So now in the AFC, we got the Ravens, Titans.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, Saturday at 8? What are the times of these games? I'm so disinterested. I'm so sick to my stomach that the Eagles are out. And, I don't even – so 4:35 next weekend. We'll do early leans brought to you by ATS Sports Picks. Visit atsportspicks.com for all information on their services. Enter the promo code A2D radio for 20% off their services. So 4:35, Minnesota, San Francisco. Laying 7. I mean, when I'm looking at the games in the playoffs, I'm just trying to pick the winner.
Right.
I mean, a lot of the times the winner is going to cover.
Yeah.
Most of the time. So I think, look at that. I just got an alert from Bleacher Report. The Cleveland Browns are going to interview Jim Schwartz for their defense. For their
reportedly Jim Schwartz for their head coach.
That'd be a Cleveland hire for sure.
It would.
Right there. You have Baker Mayfield and all these weapons. You're going to hire a defensive
And you're going to hire
coach.
a defensive coach.
Unbelievable.
Make sure you check his references and call Matt Stafford.
Unbelievable.
Before you hire that one.
Was Jim Schwartz the ones? Remember he deferred in overtime?
Yeah.
That was him,
absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
Before the rule change.
Yep.
And they just went down.
And they went
kicked
down
the
and scored,
field
and you're
goal.
just like, what
happened?
happened?
I took the wind. He took the wind in overtime.
He took the win in his defense, which obviously is Swiss cheese most of the time.
Yeah. So I have no problem laying 7 points with the San Francisco 49ers here. Minnesota caught New Orleans sleeping.
Yep.
Big
yeah,
time.
Minnesota, blew their load.
Me and Brad talked about it last week. I think it's going to be the Niners in the NFC, and it's going to be the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think this
in the
weekend's pretty
AFC.
chalk. Now looking at the lines, it's kind of telling you that too.
Like Baltimore 8-15 against Tennessee. I'm laying 9 with Lamar.
Yeah.
Give me Lamar.
Because,
I'll lay 9. That's fine.
Even if Derrick Henry runs rampant again, I think Baltimore can blow out that defense. That Tennessee defense. So they're going to put up more points
it's the
than
same
Derrick
thing
Henry.
it's the same thing as Minnesota. Okay. 7-3 as a starter down the stretch with Tannehill. You beat the champs.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah, you're done.
You're over.
Yep.
Houston, Kansas City. I love the schedule change here. There's no game at 1 on Sunday.
Yeah.
So we got 3 and 7:30.
6:40.
6:40.
Yeah,
Okay.
Which is weird. 'Cause
Sorry.
I think it's going to overlap slightly.
Yeah. So the Sunday night football slot is a lot.
Yeah.
But this is the one. I don't think the Chiefs are going to lose, but I'll take the 9.5 with the Texans.
I agree. If there is one upset chance, it's this game.
No, you don't think it's Seattle over Green Bay?
No, because I agree with what you said way early in the show. Seattle's not
Yeah,
that
but they're
good.
they're sneaky little pricks there
They
in
are.
Seattle.
No,
they
you're
fucking,
absolutely.
Matt Wilson, he gets it done.
Yeah.
But I look at their defense, it's nothing special. Their run game, Lynch had a couple of he had that touchdown where he bowled over everyone. They have no tight ends.
No.
Lockett's been on a milk carton the whole season. No, I'm out on Hollister. I'm not 14 years old anymore, so I'm out on Hollister. But Watson's a gamer. I'm glad that he won that game.
Yeah.
Because he was so fun to watch at Clemson being clutch.
Oh, he was.
And then
he
him
was
to just
awesome.
lay 2 eggs in his first 2 playoff games, that would have been disappointing. Even though I feel for Buffalo because what was it, 95 since they won a playoff game.
And they absolutely
They
choked
had
that
it.
away. They Josh Allen played like he was on drugs that last quarter. Like, what are you
Well, it was
doing?
just he killed it in the first half when Watson was on drugs.
Yeah.
And then, the
Throwing
roles
the ball
flipped.
around and trying to lateral it to this guy and
Yeah.
that guy. And like, dude, what are you doing? Yeah,
It was brutal. And then Seattle and Green Bay, because I've said the whole time that it's going to be Baltimore, Kansas City in the AFC, and Green Bay and San Fran in the NFC. And I got a little coin on Green Bay at 10-1 to win the Super Bowl.
There you go.
So I'm pulling for that. And I'm in this fantasy thing. It's a lot of fun. It's like you pick whoever you want, but once you use the guy, he's dead.
Okay.
You can't use him again. So I got that going too.
So is that an each week type of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the only guy I can't use this week is Hopkins.
Okay.
Everyone else lost. So
I'm
looking
they're out
at
anyway.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. Cuz like you have a strategy past this weekend cuz like if you get to the Super Bowl and you got no one, everyone's going to close the gap on you.
Yeah.
But I have the Chiefs. I have all the Chiefs this weekend.
Okay.
It's going to be the highest scoring game of the weekend.
Yeah, that for sure.
I mean, with the pick of the litter, I can do whatever.
Right.
But so San Francisco -7, we're in agreement there. Baltimore -9.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Houston +9.5. And he's deadly with the bye, so like I can't.
He is, but it is the playoffs.
No, but he gets the title game. He gets the bye, he wins. Then he gets the title game, he loses. He's gonna be on the road this time though, so he might win.
No, he's home.
No, but he's got to go to Baltimore.
In the championship.
In the championship.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I don't think the Chiefs are gonna lose.
No.
Their defense is playing lights out.
Right.
Spags has got them really. That's why I think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. And then I think they're going to play the Niners, even though I have the bet on the Packers. And
Jimmy G. Kill, you buying into it?
I like him. I do. I know he's unproven, but, he's good. And, like, look, if they go out there and get pass happy and make him throw the ball 35 times, that's not what you want.
Right. No, you're absolutely right.
But, I mean, look at their team. The Niners are loaded.
They're good.
They have, 3 running backs.
Yep.
The Emmanuel Sanders trade was huge.
Turned out to be, for sure.
Deebo Samuel in the second round.
Yep.
Way better than J.J. Arcega-Whiteside.
You think?
Me
or you better than J.J.
George Kittle is the best tight end in the NFL, in my opinion. Played the whole season on a broken leg. Guy's a warrior.
Yeah, but
I love that guy.
Zach Ertz has equal to stats.
I mean, okay, you want to give it to
But you don't know, like I don't disagree. Kittle's a monster, but all the
Kelsey's
love,
good too.
all the love for Kittle, and you put the stats up, and Zach Ertz has got equal to stats.
I don't know. I just look at Kittle running down the field against.
Well, it's the offense. It's Kyle Shanahan finding a way to get Kittle open spaces.
I just watched George Kittle play, and I watched Zach Ertz play for the past few years. I just watched them, and George Kittle strikes me as a slightly better player.
It's the offense.
What do you mean? Our offense, the Eagles' offense, isn't conducive to tight end success?
Well, no, it absolutely is, but it's not getting Zach because because especially the no yak Zach, it's not getting him into open spaces to where he can run down the field anymore.
Well, what they were doing yesterday did.
Well, obviously Zach was hurt.
Zach did good yesterday.
He did.
He
well.
ran after the catch.
He did well.
Yeah.
But I'm saying he wasn't his full self.
Yeah,
either,
I get it. And Zach Ertz is really good.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I'm just taking up for my guy because you look at the stats and they're very, very similar.
I don't like. I'm not a stats guy. Not a stats guy. And then Deebo Samuel, Emmanuel Sanders,
playmakers,
and their defense.
Oh,
I mean, you got Bosa.
Nick Bosa's a pimp. That bloodline with the Bosas, that's pretty well. They're pretty good.
Solomon Thomas, is that his name?
Yeah,
the Stanford guy.
Stanford kid,
You got 4
3
first round
overall.
Yeah, because the idiot
you
Bears
traded down with the Bears for one
pick and got a whole bunch of extra shit to get. Don't call me Mitch Trubisky.
And you give it to a football guy, and he's building a football team. You know?
Yeah. Remember everyone was kind of like,
Oh, could John
what
Lynch
do
do it?
Can we do
Can
this?
John Lynch do it?
John Lynch went to Stanford.
Yeah.
Smart guy.
Oh, really?
Do you think that more ex-players will get GM looks now?
I think the right type of players could. I think you're.
Do you have anyone in mind that would strike you as a good general manager?
I think Peyton.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning. I think he'd be a better GM than he would a coach, just because I think as a coach, he'd be so,
Yeah,
perfect.
but, like,
he'd
these
he'd
guys-
try to be so particular. You know what I mean?
And with these great players as coaches, like, you can't teach what Peyton Manning
No.
brought to the
Nope.
table.
And I'm not the biggest Peyton guy, but you're absolutely correct. You can't try and mimic what.
Like
yourself
Tom
did.
Brady as a coach,
No,
like
wouldn't work.
God, it's easy.
No.
You just
Yeah.
get the ball with 2 minutes left in the Super Bowl and you go right down. It's
And you-
so
and you-
easy.
and-
Why
and
can't
the,
you
the
do
C's
it?
part.
Yeah. Why can't you get
Yeah.
it?
Dude, I did this 7 times. What's
Yeah,
wrong with
it's
you?
not hard.
It's not that
every
hard.
year I'm in the Super Bowl, and you can't even get there once. You're cut. You're out. Coming out of retirement.
Did you hear that conversation he had about, when they were talking about the top 100 and they were asking him about, going to the Super Bowl in his rookie year? And, he was just sitting there. He goes, I didn't really think of it as that big of a game. He's like, it's my rookie year. I'm here. It's the first time, think it's easy. He's like, I went to Michigan, played in front of 110,000 every weekend, went to the Rose Bowl, went to the Sugar Bowl. To me, it was just another bowl game. And then, of course, he goes out and wins it, right?
Yeah.
And then he goes in a little bit of a, then he figures out how truly hard it is to get back. And he goes, after that, I realized how important, those games were.
Yeah. I lost all respect for that show when they didn't put T.O. on the receiver
Yeah,
list.
that's tough. Yep. That's tough.
He's second or third in every stat.
Yeah. And I get it. You don't want to miss out, and you don't want to skip the, the older generation. But come on, let's be real. T.O.'s a top 100 player.
Can't
of
tell
all
the
time.
story of the NFL over the past 100 years without Terrell Owens.
Nope.
Some of it good and some of it bad.
It's just like the crock of crap that the Baseball Hall of Fame is. When you don't have the likes of Barry Bonds, Pete Rose, those guys, Roger Clemens, the fact that they're not in the Hall of Fame is such a crock of shit.
It's true. I mean, I've always been
The Hall of
positive.
Fame is not, regardless of what Hall of Fame, it's not a morality. It isn't about your morals. It isn't about what type of guy you are. It's what type of player are you? Are you the best player at the time over your career?
It's like Lawrence Taylor.
Absolutely.
Lawrence Taylor's the biggest piece of shit of all time.
He's in.
Cocaine,
What,
statutory
Ty
rape.
Cobb?
Yeah,
I mean, all these guys back in the day. I mean, they weren't the greatest of guys, but they were the best players at their time in the world.
Yeah. Like, I don't understand why some guys get a pass on the morality clause, but then T.O. gets hammered.
Yeah.
Because
No, you're absolutely right. T.O. is 100%.
When you look at Terrell Owens, between the lines on Sundays, that guy never took a play off.
Nope.
He played the Super Bowl on
You
a
could just
broken
take his,
leg.
You could just take his tenure here in Philadelphia, and everything you need to know about the impact that Terrell Owens has on a football team
Yeah.
was highlighted here. When he was on the field, the Eagles are the best team in football. When he was off the field, they weren't very good.
Nope. And then you got Randy Moss, who's a unanimous selection. I mean, he went to Oakland for how many years and
Yeah.
just smoked pot and didn't try at all.
Yeah.
Then went to the Patriots where everything was
Honky-dory.
hunky-dory.
Yep. But still
You know,
didn't win.
still didn't win.
Unfortunately, you look at guys like that and you're like, I wish Randy had a ring. You know what I mean? Like those guys.
Ball don't lie, though.
It don't. It
Ball
absolutely
don't lie. But, I mean, I kind of lost. It was such a cool concept.
Yeah.
And then they just ruined it.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, you put Marvin Harrison on the list over T.O.
I think Marvin Harrison's a top 100 player, but
But they didn't do it. They didn't do it like that. You
Right.
know, they allocated 11 receiver
right.
spots.
Yeah.
And T.O.'s not a
But
top
even
11
look at
receiver of all
look at
time.
quarterbacks. Steve Young's not on there.
Who they pick for quarterbacks?
I forget who it was.
I can't. I
It
mean, it's on
was-
Friday nights at 8.
Yeah,
So like,
It was Brady. It was Montana. It was
There's no way Brett Favre wasn't on that list.
Brett Favre was there. I forget. I'll look it up.
But yeah, Steve Young. I mean, I'm sure you got Johnny U. You get some – because quarterbacks are tough because you got to compare errors. So, like, when someone threw for, like, 2,500 yards in the 70s, that's like the equivalent of throwing for 4,500 yards today.
Yeah. No,
so
absolutely.
quarterback's, like, the toughest for me. But
So it was Montana, Brady, Favre. No, I'm sorry. Montana, Brady, Unitas, Otto Graham,
like, I mean,
Sammy Ball,
Now that was a surprise, Sammy Ball, slinging Sammy.
John Elway,
yeah,
Peyton
Elway's
Manning,
locked. Manning's
Yeah.
a lock.
Staubach, yeah.
Favre, yeah.
Ace Ventura.
Yeah,
Dan
Marino, yeah.
Marino, yeah.
You know, but
That's
obviously-
probably him not having a ring is probably the biggest.
That's another
Yeah.
one.
Because that guy could sling.
Oh, he probably
He played in the 80s. Like if Dan Marino played today, like he would throw for 6,000 yards.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's no question.
And like he never really had he had decent receivers.
Yeah, he never had superstars. Not even close.
And they got Jimmy. They had Jimmy Johnson. They had a cute little team there with that in that era. That's really the only Dan Marino I knew with Jimmy Johnson and the Dolphins. But
yeah, no Young, no Aikman, no Starr. You know what I'm saying? Like none of those guys. And I'm not saying they're all top 100s, but you know, you're right though. That list, it was when they allocated certain spots for so many people. It was so tough to leave people out. But then again, it's do you get the skill positions and then leave out the big guys?
well, that's what would happen
Right.
if you didn't
It
do
would
it
be all
like that.
quarterbacks, wide receivers,
Yeah,
running backs,
it'd be
cornerbacks.
the top. It'd be the top 35 quarterbacks. A couple of DBs like
Linebackers,
Darryl Green
yeah.
and Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
All the diva wide receivers,
Yeah.
and then the two best linemen of all time. All right, well, 10 o'clock. That'll do it for this edition of the Sports Hounds. Brad will be back next week. We'll have live reactions to the National Championship. Clemson, LSU should be a great one.
Well done.
The Giants might have a coach that will please Brad.
Matt Rule.
Matt Rule. Hey, if they go McCarthy Rule in the division there with Rivera, it gets a little tougher.
Yeah, I was reading something today that somebody thought that, the Giants missed out on waiting on Rule, on like a guy like McCarthy.
Well, I read that Rule would have gotten the job over Shermer if they would have let Rule pick his staff.
Right, yes.
Which I don't know why you would pay a coach $10 million a year to coach your team and not let him pick his
And not let
staff.
him have at least input into it. Yeah, I agree.
But that's the Giants, and that's their problem. But thanks for listening, everybody. See you next week. Peace.